Hello, everyone. And by everyone, I mean literally no one. And well, at least at the time of recording this, I have 0 followers, 0 views, 0 subscribers. It's great. Well, no, I lie. To the two of you, how's it? So we are going to be doing one of my favorite pieces. It's so favorite that I actually have it. I don't know if you can see it. It's written like this wall of text. This is a speech. It's in fact, all of this is the second line from one of my favorite characters from one of my favorite plays, which is Lucky's second line from Waiting for Godot. Okay, this is Lucky's speech. Lucky's speech is something you can Google on the internet. It's a thing, but in the play, Lucky only has 2 lines. The let me just tell you the scene. So of the 4 characters, Ponzo, Lucky's kind of like owner / handler, has been bragging to Didi and Gogo how amazing Lucky's brain is. Like, Lucky has the best thoughts. Like, Lucky once said, there's only so much laughter in the world, and when one person starts laughing, another person stops. So there's only a certain amount. And everyone's like, oh, this is so amazing. Didi, what do you think? Oh, Gogo, this is amazing. And then they decide, well, let Lucky speak. Let's hear something that he says. And Ponzo looks to Lucky and says, speak. And Lucky goes, well, but on the other hand, and then Ponzo says, stop. Move back. Stand up straight. This way. Move to the left. A little bit to the right. Move, keep going back. Stop. Come forward a bit. Stop. Okay. Think. And Lucky, who has been docile the entire play, looks out and says, given the existence, as uttered forth in the public works of Puncher and Watman, of a personal God, qua, 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 with white beard, qua, 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 outside time, without extension, who, from the heights of divine apathia, divine athambia, divine aphasia, loves us dearly, with some exceptions for reasons unknown, but time will tell, and suffers like the divine Miranda, with those who, for reasons unknown, but time will tell, are plunged in torment, plunged in fire, whose fire flames, if that continues, and who can doubt it, will fire the firmament, that is to say, blast heaven to hell, so blue, still, and calm, so calm, with a calm which, even though intermittent, is better than nothing, but not so fast. And considering what is more, that as a result of the labours left unfinished, crowned by the Academy of Anthropometry, of Essie and Posse, of Testu and Cunard, it is established beyond all doubt, all other doubt, than that which clings to the labours of men, that as a result of the labours unfinished, of Testu and Cunard, it is established as hereinafter, but not so fast, for reasons unknown, that as a result of the public works of Puncher and Watman, it is established beyond all doubt that in view of the labours of Fartov and Belchev left unfinished for reasons unknown, of Testu and Cunard left unfinished, it is established what many deny, that man in Posse of Testu and Cunard, that man in Essie, that man in Short, that man in Brief, in spite of the strides of alimentation and defecation, is seen to waste and pine, and concurrently, simultaneously, what is more, for reasons unknown, it is in spite of the strides of physical culture, the practice of sports such as tennis, football, running, cycling, swimming, flying, floating, gliding, riding, conating, camboding, skating, tennis of all kinds, dying, flying, sports of all sorts, autumn, summer, winter tennis of all kinds, hockey of all sorts, penicillin and succedanea. In a word, for, I resume, and concurrently, simultaneously, for reasons unknown, to shrink and dwindle. In spite of the tennis, I resume, flying, gliding, golfing over 9 and 18 holes, tennis of all sorts, in a word, for reasons unknown, in Fleckham, Peckham, Fulham, Clapham, namely, concurrently, simultaneously, what is more, for reasons unknown, but time will tell, to shrink and dwindle. I resume Fulham Clapham, in a word, the dead loss per head since the death of Bishop Berkeley, being to the tune of 1 inch 4 ounces per head, approximately, by and large, more or less, to the nearest decimal, good measure, round figures, stark naked in the stocking feet in Connemara. In a word, for reasons unknown, no matter what matter, the facts are there, and considering what is more, much more grave than in the light of the labours lost of Steinweg and Peterman, it appears what is much more grave that in the light of the labours lost to Steinweg and Peterman, that in the plains, in the mountains, by the sea, by the rivers, running water, running fire, the air is the same, and that the earth, namely the air and then the earth, in the great cold, the great dark, the great air, and the earth, abode of stones, in the great cold, alas, alas, in the year of their Lord 600 and something, the air, the earth, the sea, the earth, abode of stones, in the great deeps, the great deeps, the great cold, on sea, on land, and in the air, I resume, for reasons unknown, in spite of the tennis. The facts are there, but time will tell. I resume, alas, alas, in short, in fine, on abode of stones, and who can doubt it? I resume, but not so fast. I resume the skull, to shrink and waste, and concurrently, simultaneously, what is more, for reasons unknown, in spite of the tennis, on the beard, the flames, the tears, the stone, so blue, so calm, alas, alas, on the skull, in Connemara, in spite of the tennis, the labours abandoned, left unfinished, graver still, abode of stones. In a word, I resume, alas, alas, abandoned, unfinished, the skull in Connemara, in spite of the tennis, the skull, alas, the stones, Cunard, tennis, the stones, so calm, Cunard, unfinished. And Lucky's hat is taken off his head, and he is again turned off and docile.